Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Bundles, and today we're going to be going over a Shopify bill. Well, not really a real Shopify bill, but I'm going to be showing you what to expect when you do sign up for Shopify as far as billing. We touched on the Shopify plans, I think it was sometime last year in another video. But in this video, like I mentioned, I am going to kind of be going over how to, the breakdown and what to expect when you do sign up for Shopify as far as the billing portion. So if you are interested, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into the video. So a lot of you know that I talk about Shopify a lot because that's the e-commerce store that I've decided to use for my business, as well as it's the e-commerce store that I found the most use out of thus far. And, I've received a few questions recently and also a few months ago, just kind of asking, when I sign up for Shopify, is it just the $29 for the basic plan? Is that all that I'm paying? And so if you've asked me that question, then, I've reached out and I've advised you that it depends. It could be $29 if there are no other fees associated as far as, the transaction fees, meaning if you did not receive an order that month, or the shipping fees, if you did not send out a product, then you don't have to worry about that fee if you did not download an app. And so I thought this video would be pretty helpful for you understanding how to break down the bill. Shopify has a way of making a lot of things more seamless, in my opinion. And so instead of looking at the bill as, hey, I'm just being charged additional fees, look at the fees or the charges for what they are, and understand that even if you were with a different e-commerce platform or site, you would still have to pay for shipping. Shopify kind of just puts all of that together. So the first thing that you want to do is log into your Shopify account if you are not already. And they have a help center, so you can type in, Shopify Billing, and you'll get to a page like this. So it goes over your bill overview, and it explains that your bill includes 4 sections. So your subscription, obviously, that's the charge for the Shopify plan that you selected. If you have not picked the Shopify plan yet, please do so. Shopify, like I mentioned, I've tried GoDaddy. There's nothing against it. There's other e-commerce sites that, are out there. Nothing against those sites either. But if you want my personal opinion, I found them, like I mentioned in the beginning, I find the most use through Shopify. So I have a link below in the description bar. If you do want to try a free trial with Shopify, you can definitely do that. Just go ahead and click the link in the description and get started. Now, also apps. That's the second bullet point that they have. So I've made a few videos on this channel as well about Shopify apps. That's one of the, another reason why I enjoy working with Shopify, because you can customize your website to work for you. So if you want to add a countdown timer on your website, you can do that with an app. If you want to add different pop-ups, you can do that with an app. If you want to add pretty much, anything to your website, there's different apps that Shopify has for that. And so some of the apps are completely free. Some of the apps allow you to do a trial. So maybe like depending on the app and depending on the creator, they may say, I'm going to give you a 5-day trial, or I'm going to give you a 2-week trial, and once you complete the trial, if you decide to continue with the application, then there is, a fee, and the fee is billed through your Shopify store. So you don't really have to pay separately for everything. I mean, it is itemized separate on your bill, but it's still one invoice through Shopify. Also, the next bullet point that they have is shipping. So shipping, shows the charges for your shipping labels and adjustments made during your billing cycle. So I like this because before, when I was not using Shopify, I would have to, go to the post office, and pretty much I would just pay. I would pay out of pocket when I was at the post office to ship my packages for my customers. And, there's nothing wrong with that. It was just an extra step. And so having the shipping labels already billed, just through one bill, and, just where I can kind of just go ahead and print the labels and go. It just makes it makes everything more seamless. Also, I don't really have to worry about writing out everything when I get to the post office. You really just go to your Shopify site, print out the labels, and like I mentioned, you go. It's really seamless. So I like that. The next bullet point are the transaction fees. So the transaction charges, the transaction fees show transaction charges associated with the bill. You are charged transaction fees if you are not using Shopify payments. So I'm charged transaction fees every month. If you receive an order, you are charged transaction fees. So Shopify charges you for each order that you receive. In my opinion, it's a minimum fee to use their service. If you want to use Shopify payments, that's completely up to you. There's a lot of people that I work with that do use Shopify payments and also PayPal. For me personally, I am only using PayPal at this point. And so like I mentioned, I'm charged the transaction fees. And for me, a lot of I've gone over my experience as to why I do use PayPal only at this point. And I've also mentioned that I'm going to be looking into different payment options, and I have been looking into different payment options, but it's something that I'm not going to rush into because I want to make sure that I'm making the best decision. And so in my opinion, for the coverage that PayPal has given me, as far as, making sure that I'm really not losing anything on, chargebacks or anything like that, that they actually give me a fair chance to fight. I don't want to say fight, but you know what I mean? If someone is saying, hey, I didn't want this product, or someone hacked my PayPal account. PayPal really has a good way of doing research so that the customer gets a fair opportunity to explain their side, as well as the store owner, the seller, the merchant. And, so that's who you would be, the store owner, you would be on the other side. And so, in my opinion, it's worked really well. And so it's worth me paying the transaction fees by not using Shopify payments, versus me using Shopify payments and, having a chargeback and risking me losing, not only my inventory, but also my money. And so I've never used Shopify payments, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. A lot of people that use it say that, it's really great. They enjoy using it. I love using Shopify, so I'm sure that, their payments are fine as well. It's just, I'm most comfortable using PayPal still at this point. So right here, it's kind of just showing you, the payment timeline, how it's going to look in your Shopify store. It shows you the day that the bill was created. It shows you if your payment was not successful, if the payment has failed, and it also shows you once it has been paid. So they'll pretty much give you like a breakdown. They'll let you know where you stand. And so you want to make sure that you're being mindful of that. The last thing that you want is for your store to go inactive and for, a customer to go to your website and then there's no website there. And I know a lot of people get discouraged easily. When I first started, I was easily discouraged as well. And then you kind of just learn that you keep going. If it's something that you want, you keep going with it. And yes, there's going to be, fees associated with keeping your business running. But if you have your vision, if you are committed, if you have if you're passionate about what you're doing, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to see a return. You're going to start picking up momentum. It may not come overnight. It may not happen that week. It may not even happen that year. But that's kind of what separates who's going to continue and who's really not. It's based on, your willpower to continue even when things don't look their best. So they kind of go over the bill cycles with you, subscription billing cycle, the app billing cycle. And so just so that there won't be any confusion there. Apps, you really want to make sure that you're reading the full description. Excuse me, when you are pulling up or picking an app for Shopify. Because a lot of times people forget that they have apps, even me. When I say people, I'm meaning me. Sometimes I forget that I have certain apps on my store and I get my Shopify invoice like, whoa, what happened this month? And I'm like, oh, okay. I tried these apps out and I forgot to stop it, when the trial ended, because, maybe I decided not to carry on with the app, or maybe I decided I didn't really, need the app at that time. And so make sure that you are staying on top of that. Right here, they're explaining recurring charge types. So the following types of recurring charges can occur. And then right here, they're explaining the one-time charges as well. Now, the apps can be recurring, and they also can be a one-time charge. It just really depends on the type of app that you choose. The majority of the apps that I've selected have been recurring, meaning you pay each month that you use the app, or they're free. Also, the way that your account is billed depends on your store's transaction volume. Any recurring app charges, and the payment provider you use. And so I have a note right here just kind of going over the advanced cash on delivery app. They go over a breakdown of how to calculate your transaction fees. And also they give you steps to do that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you all this page that they also have in the Help Center. Just kind of goes over the information pertaining to your plan. So it goes over some of the percentages as far as, what you may be charged for your transaction fees, or for your credit card payments, and things like that. So for the Shopify plan, it's $79. Basic Shopify, it's $29. And then for the advanced Shopify, it's $299. And like I mentioned, they go over the features too. So I thought that was really helpful. So this is where, in my opinion, I'm just scrolling down so you can kind of see some other information. Here they're kind of touching on, transaction fees are not applied when you are processing like a cash on delivery order. So if you're creating an order and you go in and you select, hey, this customer has already paid me. I met her at her house, or I met her at a store, or whatever. She paid me with cash. I met her at work. You can go ahead and choose that. Select cash on delivery, COD, through your Shopify store. And that's going to avoid you receiving a transaction order or a transaction fee. You can also create a test order, and that's also, exempt from a transaction fee because it's not a real transaction. And if you go ahead, it depends on how you create your test order as well. If you create an order and it's not real, you can go ahead and just cancel that order out to make sure that you are going to, be refunded for that order. Now, I hear a lot of people say, that's just why I don't use Shopify, because, the fees associated. But when people say that, I have to I don't have to, but I like to remind people that it's really more, it's the value in the product and the service that you're using to me. I talk about that a lot. And so the value for me to have everything, very simplistic, the value for me to have everything kind of laid out into one place, the value that it provides when I'm filing taxes. I don't have to really go back and keep all of the receipts from the post. I mean, I still keep all of my receipts, but I don't have to, if I lose a receipt or anything like that, I still have everything through my Shopify store. I still can keep track of how much I spent during shipping. Like I said, that's a good perk for me, especially when I'm filing taxes. I can still keep track of, everything that I'm being charged just through one bill. And so you're still being charged the same amount. I don't care if you're using another, I don't want to say same amount, but you're still charged some of these fees. They just may be separate. If you're using a different e-commerce site, the 9 times out of 10, you're still being charged for shipping, especially if you're shipping through the post office. And if you're not shipping, if you're not being charged for shipping, please leave a comment and let us know how you're getting around not paying for shipping. But you're still going to be charged for that. Now, a lot of different e-commerce platforms don't allow different apps to be installed into your store. So that may be a way, one of the ways that you're not paying for, your app purchases, but you don't have to pay for that on Shopify either. Apps are completely optional. So, I was having a conversation with GoDaddy because I still use GoDaddy for a few things. I use them for my business phone and email address. I don't have a problem with GoDaddy. I've used GoDaddy for years. So I still enjoy working with GoDaddy. It's just, I found a e-commerce site that works a little bit better, in my opinion, for my business at this point. And the customer service picked up and they were like, "Hey, why are you at Shopify? It's so too expensive." And I'm thinking like, it's not just about the price to me. In my opinion, they're not too expensive, for what they offer, And right here on the screen, what's been up is just kind of going over the pending charges. And they have a billing threshold. So typically you're billed every month. But if your account reaches a certain threshold in like sales and in transaction fees, then they're going to go ahead and just bill you right there. And so, that could be a reason why you're receiving your bill sooner than normal. If you have had a really, really busy month, which is good, really, really busy month, and you've kind of exceeded, their threshold, and they're like, "Hey, let's go ahead and just bill you now." And you can also view your store's billing threshold in the bill section of your billing. At the bottom, it's going over how your first bill does not include your transaction fees, but your second bill will. So just reading through your Shopify account, getting familiar with how everything works is going to be beneficial for you. I do these videos because I receive a lot of questions about Shopify, because I make a lot of videos about Shopify. And I like doing these videos to show you that the information is really easily accessible. All the information is really through Shopify. I'm happy to go over it with you. I'm happy to create videos. But it's all really there. It's all right there. And it's not hidden. Sometimes when you work with different companies, you may feel like the information is hidden. I can't find anything. I have to jump through hoops to find all this information. And with Shopify, that's not the case. The information is really there. They do a good job of explaining how everything works. And so, they explain, how everything works with Shopify payments. And like I mentioned, even though I don't use Shopify payments at this time, I have a lot of people that I work with that do, and they enjoy using Shopify payments. They really do. I've had people say I've had no problem with it. I haven't lost any money using Shopify payments. I've received all of my payments. People enjoy working with it. So don't let me or what anyone else says really deter you from selecting the payment method that's going to work best for your store. I just, on videos, I give you my advice and I explain, what I'm doing and my experiences, but that does not mean that you have to do the exact same thing. And that doesn't mean that, my experiences are going to work the best for you. So, just take the information in and read over, what's on the screen and ultimately decide what's going to be best for you and your business. I say this in every video. What works for one is not going to work for all. So again, you're not charged transaction fees using Shopify payments. And the first sentence is outlining if your store uses Shopify payments, then the card processing rates are deducted from your orders automatically. So it's automatically whenever you use Shopify payments and someone checks out using that option, that payment method, then they're taking their fees automatically when that order is being processed. And so you don't really have to worry about the transaction fees being billed at a later time because, like I said, they're taking their fees. Pretty much their rates are deducted directly from the orders. So I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.